Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be focusing in on review number 1, questions 12 through 13, 12 and 13 only. Obviously 12 has multiple parts, but question number 11, this is in radian. We have pi over 6, that's our frequency. We did skip that lesson, so I am going to cross that out. We're going to focus a little bit more on that next year, okay? The last question I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to do it as an extra credit for the test. You can go ahead and put this into your calculator. You're going to have to change your X and obviously change it to radian. But all right, we're going to start with question 12. We want to write the equation. It's nice that they have everything set up for you and all the things that you need to write an equation. You need to decide if it's sine or cosine. You guys need to go ahead and decide if it's reflected or flipped over the x-axis, the amplitude, frequency, and midline, and then you're going to go ahead and write your equation. Okay, is this sine or cosine? You guys can see that the midline is y is equal to 0, the distance midway between the max and the min. So y is equal to 0. Knowing that this right here is 0, we know that it's cosine because it starts at the amplitude, which is 2. Is it reflected? No. How do you know if cosine's reflected or not? Obviously, it starts at the amplitude, ends at the amplitude. If it's reflected, it would start at -2 or flipped. My amplitude is the highest right here, which is 2. This frequency is a little tricky here. We're going to go ahead and this is 2 pi. You always have to make sure you're going from 0 to 360. And when you guys go ahead and see that, you're going to see with cosine, it looks something like this. You're only seeing half of it, okay? So we have, right, these 3 main points right here, and you're going to realize that that's going to be half. We're going to put everything together. Y equals your amplitude, cosine, frequency, x, and you could put plus 0 because that is your midline. All right, moving right along to the next question. Again, make sure you look to see that it's going from 0 to 360. That's extremely important when you guys are going ahead and doing that. You're going to go ahead and decide if it's sine or cosine, okay? You guys are going to see that we're starting at the amplitude again, ending, starting, ending. So it's cosine. It's not reflected, no, because obviously it would be flipped over the x-axis and start at that negative. The amplitude would be 3. And you're going to see right here, you're going to start at the amplitude, end at the amplitude. That's 1. And if you go ahead, start at the amplitude, end at the amplitude, that would be another. So your frequency would be 2. Your midline is the distance midway between the max and the min, or the average. So we know y is equal to 0. You can put that all together. Y is equal to amplitude 3, cosine, frequency 2x plus the 0. All right, moving right along, we're going to go on to C. Again, we're going to decide if it's sine or cosine. You're going to see right here that the max and the min, the midline is y is equal to 0, and we're starting at 0, so it's sine. Now, usually sine starts at 0, goes up to 1, okay? So you guys can see that we're going down to -1. When sine goes in the direction downward, we know that, yes, it was reflected. The amplitude here, 1, 2, 3. And the frequency, remember you have your 5 key points. Midway, you're at 0. You're going to see it goes down, back up. So you're going to see a frequency of 1. You can put all that together now. We have, I need to be careful. You need to be careful. What I just realized right here is that it is ending at pi, which is 180. When you write these equations, you want to go to 360. So we have one frequency at 180. We need to get to 360. So 180 times 360, you need to multiply that by 2. So you need to multiply this here by 2. So I apologize. We have a frequency of 2. So put all this together. Y is equal to negative. Don't forget that negative. That's one of the most common mistakes that students make. Your amplitude, sine, frequency, plus the 0. Yeah, so be very, very careful that you look here. All right, now this one is going to 4 pi, which is 720 degrees, and we only want 2 pi. So when we go ahead and do this, I'll show you that we're going to have one frequency at 720. We need to get to 360, so we have to divide this by 2. We're going to divide this by 2 also. So you're only going to have a half. Some kids can just see that this right here, halfway, is 2 pi, which is also 360. All right, so first we have to decide if it's sine or cosine. It starts at 0. Our midline is y is equal to 0. So we know right now that it is going to be sine. It's moving in an upward direction. So is it reflected? No. My amplitude would be 2. And we just talked about how the frequency is a half based on my 0 to 360. My equation, we'll put everything together. Y is equal to my amplitude, 2 sine, 1/2 x plus the 0. All right, moving right along to the last question. This is the word problem. This question right here, this equation of graphing, is going to be extra credit for the test. I do want you to practice for the review, and the reason being is because the cosine equation is in radian. All right, you and your friend are riding on a river steamboat. You notice a dead fish caught on one of the paddles. As the wheel turns, you notice that the fish's height could be modeled by cosine, so we know that we're dealing with cosine since the fish was caught when the wheel was at the bottom. It takes 12 seconds for the fish to rotate one cycle. If the wheel has a diameter of 20 meters and reaches a min height under the water at 3 meters, determine the following. Okay, so we want to go ahead and picture this. We're in the water right here. Right here is 3 feet under. Okay, we do have to take into account that it takes 12 seconds for the fish to do one cycle if the wheel has a diameter of 20. So we know that we have a wheel. Whoops, this is not drawn very well. So from here to here is 3. I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger. Whoop. Okay, so we know that from here to the water, that's going to be 3. From here to here, we know that we have 17 feet. Because we have 3 plus the 17, that's going to give us the 20, okay? This is the water. The water is a little high. I should have done the water a little lower. So we have a minimum height of -3. The max is going to be 17 because this is -3 to get out of the water, and then 17 more above. Your midline is going to be the average of the two, so you're going to do 17 plus -3 divided by 2, and that's going to give us y is equal to 7. My amplitude is going to be 10. And I just want you guys to think about this right here, because my midline is 7, and from 7 you're going to go up and move it up 10. So when you're at 10, and you move that up 7, you're going to be at the max of 17. Your period is 12 seconds, and the frequency is 2 pi divided by 12, which is pi over 6. Okay? You're going to go ahead and put everything together. You do want to know that this is reflected. So we have y is equal to, shh, here, hold on a minute. Y is equal to -10 cosine your frequency, which is pi over 6x plus 7. Okay? Now, I do want to note that this right here is your in radian, and you can tell that it's in radian the way the x is labeled. We have, instead of degrees, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so forth and so on from 0 to 13. So when you guys go ahead and do this, what you need to do is, the first thing that you need to do is you need to hit mode, and you're going to hit mode, you're going to go down to radian and hit radian and make sure that you're in radian. The next thing you guys need to make sure that you consider is, again, your window. You guys, when you do this, you can see that your x is going from 0 to 13. So you should switch your x min and max from 0 to 13. And you can go to a scale of 1. So you can move up the scale of 1. And then you guys can see your y, you're going from -4 to 18. So, I mean, and you can go from -5 to 20, whatever. So your y min, -4, y max, 18. And then again, you're going to have that scale of 1. You also have to make sure from the last problem that you did that you go and you do your table setup. We want to start at 0, and now we want to go up by 1. So when you're going from radian, you have to switch your calculator compared to when you're going ahead and doing it in degree. And once you guys go ahead and do that, you guys can go to your table, and you're going to see 0, -3. You can plot that point there. You can plot 2, 2, 3, 7, 6, 17, 8, I'm not going to do that one, 9, 7, 10, 2, and 12, -3. Okay? So you guys can use your table to help you go ahead and graph that there. Okay? And just note that this right here is your midline at y is equal to 7. All right, so we can go ahead and find the height after 3 minutes. Again, you can look here after 3 minutes, which is 7 meters, or you can go ahead and look at your table. This is when x is 3, your y value is going to be 7. 6 minutes, again, you guys can go ahead and look here. 6 minutes, you're going to be at 17 meters. And this last one, 8.5 meters, you want to round to the nearest tenth. This one, you obviously cannot see on your table, or here, if you do it here, that would be an estimation. So you guys make sure you do y equals -10 cosine pi over 6 times 8.5 plus 7. You can throw that right into your calculator right now, and you're going to get 9.6 meters. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a wonderful day.